This presentation will describe how educators can effectively use video games to help reach their next generation students. A video game is any of various games played using a microcomputer with a keyboard and often joysticks to manipulate changes or respond to the action or questions on the screen. This is the definition that is given on dictionary.com. However, it is already obsolete. If you look at commercials on television, you see that joysticks, keyboards, and even controllers are no longer necessary parts of a video game. Today, your body can be the controller when using Wii and Xbox Kinect. With video games being this advanced, the possibilities are even greater to find a use for them in your class. They were first created in 1974. Back then, users manipulated a joystick to control a dot that represented a missile that was being launched at targets. From there, we've moved on to Atari, Nintendo, PlayStation, Wii, and Xbox. Video games have been advancing by leaps and bounds in recent years. These new game systems all have games that would make great additions to a classroom, such as Civil War: A Nation Divided, Quest Atlantis, and Age of Mythology. The next generation is the generation of children that have grown up with technology. They are sometimes called digital natives. They are the youngest generation, and their expectations of the classroom are a bit different than previous generations. These students expect teachers to facilitate their learning by using technology. The U.S. Census data indicates that a total of 25.7% of the total population, roughly 70 million, are under the age of 18. Another 7.8 million are between the ages of 18 and 24 years old. This is a lot of net generation kids. About 73% use the internet. 74%, approximately 13 million teenagers, use instant messaging or some other communication device online. When you consider that only about 44% of adults use instant messaging, you can see that there is a big discrepancy between generations. A little over 14% of children as young as 3 to 4 years old even use the internet. To sum it all up, these kids know and love technology. Net generation students are hard workers. With working hard, they expect rewards. They consider themselves global citizens because they have been connected to the entire world their entire lives. They enjoy collaboration, interactivity, immediate information, and are digitally literate. Net generation students enjoy discovery learning. This is because they have been researching on the internet to find answers to their questions their entire lives. They like working in groups where there is no hierarchy, but rather a level playing field. They are good visual learners, and they have the ability to multitask. They enjoy problems with real-world applications. There are many benefits to video games. Students who use video games in the classroom are not only more engaged, but have actually been proven to retain the information that they have learned longer than a student who did not use video games. Students become actively involved in the learning process when they are engaged in gaming. Sasha Barab is the creator of Quest Atlantis, a virtual gaming world for students and teachers. Here, students and teachers participate in various games that teach about everything from persuasive writing to archaeology. He realized the potential that video games can have in the classroom. He says that video games are a necessity because they allow students to actually do something with what they learn. Too often, students are forced to sit in their desks and memorize information, not knowing how or why they will ever use it. Quest Atlantis allows students to take what they learn and apply it to a real-world problem. For instance, to teach persuasive writing, students take on the role of an investigative journalist. They are transported to a town that is overrun with a plague. A doctor in the town is performing experiments on a monster. These experiments may result in a cure for the plague. It is the job of the student to write a persuasive news article about the morality of experimenting on this monster. The game is based on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and teaches students keys to persuasive writing while they play. Along the way, they must submit assignments to their editor, the teacher. If they are not satisfactory, they cannot move on in the game. This level of engagement and real-world application is something that cannot be recreated in a regular classroom. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. These are widely viewed as the subjects that are needed for careers of the future. Video games can be especially helpful in increasing skills in the STEM subjects. In their article, Gaming Research for Technology Education, Aaron Clark and Jeremy Ernst claim that games can be utilized as a vehicle for science, technology, engineering, and math subject matter delivery, as well as a motivator for students. Because they captivate student interest, they will spend more time learning on their own, thus helping to create lifelong learners. Video games teach students many different real-world skills. They learn how to problem solve by completing task after task in the video game. They think critically by looking at problems that video games present in various ways. They persevere every time they fail and then try again. They decipher signs, codes, and symbols that are hidden within the video games. The complaint from many corporations today is that students are not prepared for the workforce. The Federation of American Scientists suggests that video games could solve this problem. They say this because video games teach 21st century skills like analytical thinking, multitasking, team building, and problem solving under duress, all skills needed in today's workplace. There are many video games out there for every subject area. In music, Guitar Hero or Rock Band can be used to teach students about musical notes and timing. In history, Civil War, A Nation Divided, can be used to supplement information on the American Civil War. In English, students can play Age of Mythology to learn about Greek gods. In math, students can compete in teams to solve math problems by playing Dimension M. In science, students can play a number of games available on Quest Atlantis to teach them about everything from marine life to soil erosion. In art, students can play Nintendo's Art Academy. Now that you have learned about the wonderful opportunities that video games can provide your students, I hope that you consider working them into your lessons. They will help you differentiate your instruction, engage your students, and teach real-world 21st century skills that employers are looking for. Most importantly, video games will help students retain information longer and just might make them the lifelong learners we all hope they will become.